Visibility Challenge, which is just a free challenge just to re-enthuse us all about showing up online, because it can feel a bit scary to put yourself out there. We're not quite sure whether we should get professional photos done or whether we should use more candid ones. And feeling visible really is about confidence, and the confidence comes from an internal place, right? So you can curate everything you like and still not feel confident on the inside. So all of my work really is about connecting to that embodied self, that kind of sense of confidence internally. So I thought I would just pop on and do a Q&A if anybody had any questions. You're obviously welcome to join in. So we've done introductions, which started on Friday and are still carrying on today. And then it's day one of the challenge today, where people are sharing some of their more candid photographs of themselves and also professional photos as well. So we just get like a big eclectic mix of how people are showing up, like how they are showing themselves. So it's been really fun. So if you want to head over, you're so welcome to have a little look. A lot of the stuff that crops up for people is that they feel really uncomfortable with having the photograph taken. They feel like their professional photos are really old and it doesn't really represent their personality in the same way, or, they feel a bit weird using them because they're old. And there's so many ways with this. So I always like to start with Pinterest. So if you are a Pinterest user, creating a board of like a brand photo shoot. So if you have some ideas of places that you could use close to you, even a plain brick wall or a plain wall. Like I'm just looking in my studio and there's one over there that I could use. Like if I really wanted to use a brick wall as a backdrop, there's so many ways that we can just use what we have. So sometimes I just noticed actually a field of sunflowers. It wouldn't be very easy to like get to, but I'm like, oh, could I get into that field of sunflowers? It's right near my house. But yeah, there's nowhere really to park the car. So because all of these ideas have been kind of threads of ideas that have come from Pinterest boards over the last sort of 5 or so years, I always feel like I have that creative expression that just kind of turns on when I'm in a location, that enables me to take photos that can work with my website, with my Substack over on Instagram. And it does just build up over time. And I guess what I'm wanting to create from today's challenge is just to give you guys some resource so that you don't go to publish a post and use a stock image. We can use stock images, of course we can, but if we've got some images that represent us and connect to who we are as people just connect more. They just feel more connected. A lot of the stock images are heavily overused, and so it doesn't really set you apart. It doesn't really have that clickable factor the same way as a personal photo would. So, so we are sharing candid photographs, we are sharing professional photos, we're having a good old conversation in the chat over on the Vibrant Visibility Challenge. If you're a member of Sparkle on Substack, it'll be free all week for you to join the challenge. If you are a reader, then you're going to get access for 3 days to the challenge. So there'll be loads to keep you busy and loads for you to think about, and then you can embed that into your creative practice here on Substack. If you have got any questions for me about being visible online and how I manage any of that stuff, how I manage the more difficult stuff, how I manage the strategic stuff, how it all flows, then please ask in the comments and I'll be on live for a few minutes to answer. The idea is that I just help you guys build a really solid, creative, embodied practice around showing up and being visible. So yes, it's about confidence, but confidence comes from curating the way that we feel most comfortable in our writing, but also visibly showing up as ourselves. So obviously I'm comfortable to come and chat to Substack Live. I'm comfortable to go on Instagram stories. That wasn't always the case. I remember the first few stories that I did, and it was just crushing. Like, it was just like, I can't do this. Like, this isn't something that I'll ever be able to do. So I didn't post any of them. And then I got more comfortable because I got very comfortable talking about the topic that I wanted to talk about, which was my work, right? So because I used to work in festivals and events, I always had something interesting to show from whatever we were doing with artist residencies or wherever I was headed. There was always lots of bits and bobs to show. And so being able to do that and talk about it and talk about my work was something that I was passionate about anyway. So that was kind of the floodgate to doing more and talking more personally and sharing more behind the scenes stuff. And really, it was the gateway to starting on Substack and starting to write long form. So I think there are loads of ways in, but we've got to find what's comfortable for us. So if you are just new and like wondering how to set yourself up, to share a profile picture, you're not sure what type of photograph to share inside of your publication or how to share more and connect with people, then it's a really good challenge for that, because it'll just get you thinking outside the box and it'll get you curating some of the visuals that'll match really well with your Substack. So yeah, has anyone got any questions while I'm here? There's a few people joined early on. But yeah, I'm really happy to answer any question you guys have about being visible on Substack. I think it's really cute that we get a little space to play around with at the top of our bio now. So that's new-ish. So I think that came in just before summer. So in that space, I've seen people be quite creative and use an alternative photograph that's like a detail shot that sits quite well with their profile picture. Other people have designed something up on Canva that invites us in with text. Some people have done a combination of both. So that's really interesting to me at the moment. I have a photograph that I took on holiday actually in that spot. So I have a photograph of a notebook and pen and a coffee that you can just about see. I could edit that to be a little bit clearer. I'm just never quite sure how much effort to put into these sorts of things. I'm like, it's okay for now. We'll leave it for now. I think one of the bugbears, and I've spoken about this a lot, is that we used to have publication explainers underneath our bio. So then it felt like we could say who we were as a writer, as a person on Substack, but then we could explain more in the bio of our publication, like that publication explainer piece. And we haven't got that now. Just looking at it there now. But it's good for now. But if you guys have got any ideas about things that you've been doing on there, you're very welcome to let us know. Has anyone got any questions about being live? Does anyone feel like they would like to do a live, but they don't feel like they would have the confidence to get there, to kind of know how to curate that, to feel comfortable with the technology, to feel comfortable with showing up on your phone in this way? Because I can answer those questions as well. So Mary Beth's saying, do you set a precedent for yourself doing lives? How many you'll do? How many photos of you in action while doing an event or a launch? Yeah, so in terms of lives, I really have to go with my energy on this. So I didn't know I was going to go live today. I had it in the back of my mind that if I wasn't too tired on 2 podcasts today, so if I wasn't too tired from doing the podcast, that I would pop on and do live. I did Instagram stories this morning. So I could have recorded one video and then utilize that across platforms, but I'm still treating Substack and Instagram quite separately. And I feel like when I go live here, I'm tending to speak to the people that are already subscribed to me, which feels quite nice. So it just feels like I'm just having a little colleague check-in. So sometimes I'll schedule it. But often the schedules are only when I've got a guest and when we have to do a thing. We've said we're going to do a thing and we're both available in that time zone. If it's me, then I tend to just be impromptu. But I don't send out an email like ping, because I just feel like I don't want it to confuse like and overwhelm people in terms of the amount of email that's coming in from me. So I just would, if anyone's on the app, then they'll see it. And then in terms of photos, so I had a professional shoot with my friend back in March, which was really fun to do. And we chatted about it a lot beforehand. We chatted about the types of shots that we wanted to get. She is a yoga teacher, so she wanted to get some shots in the park, like some outdoor yoga shots. And I was really keen to bring my laptop and have some photographs of me using my phone. We had so many props, which made it more fun. So it was like, and now we're going to do this one and now we're going to do that one. And we could be like details coordinator for each other. So that was a really fun thing to do. And I think, like anyone, there are always photos of myself that I don't like. Like, it's hard. It's like we're really hard on ourselves. So there'll be certain photos where I just don't like the angle, or I just feel like it's too messy, or like even it was little stuff like my shirt was a bit creased at the bottom, so I didn't want to use it on my website. Like, it's just little stupid things, but you learn more in all of that space, the more photos that you have of yourself to choose from. And I tend to like to use a mix of the professional shots that I've had, like some of them I've had 7 years now that are on my website, and I'll still pull them out for posts and stuff. A mix of those, and then the more candid shots that show like I am just a real person living life, because sometimes the highly curated stuff can create a bit of distance, and we don't mean to. It's just that it feels like, yeah, it just feels a little bit stagnant or something. So I think that's one of the reasons that I jump on live, so people know that I'm a real person that can actually um oh, sorry, I just, when you're like, there's a child crying, I was like, whose child is it? It's not my child, it's fine, she's not home yet. It's somebody else's child. So it's fine. Yeah, so I think that's why I like to come on live, because I can share a little bit. Like, I could pop up in my kitchen, I could be downstairs, all of that sort of stuff, and then you guys get to know me a little bit better. It just feels a little bit more impromptu. So if we are out and about, if I'm with my friend, like, he's really good now, and he'll be like, "Shall I get some shots for you?" Like, he just knows that it's really good to be able to have photographs, and he's good at taking them. So even if we're just in a random restaurant in London, he'll be like, "Oh, I'll get a couple of shots for you." So that's always really helpful. With my husband, like, we'll prompt each other. So he'll get some video footage or something at the beach, and then I might use that on a reel on Instagram. Um, I also love taking photos of the beach myself as well, because people like receiving those, and it feels like a real postcard from from where I live. So oftentimes they'll just be like, the dog will be in there, or like the back of the kids or something will be in there. So it's just like curated a little bit. But I definitely don't go like down to the beach and go, okay, I need to get all of these shots. It just happens organically. I feel like sometimes, when you look at the photos on your phone and you're like, oh, I've got nothing, like nothing I could use. So I definitely curate things that just, I've got that aesthetic eye anyway. So if I go to a coffee shop and I really like the mug, I'll just shuffle things about a bit and take a photograph. Because it's always just good to have more of those things that you can use that are just lifestyle bits. You can put them in the grid in Substack, or obviously you can write on top of them if you're using the carousels on Instagram. So I think it is just really nice to have some photos that are our photos to choose from. And my friend who's a photographer taught me the rule of thirds, which really helps. So you can put your grid lines on. I'm doing this because it's like a little sort of times, it's like a noughts and crosses. You can put your grid lines on your iPhone, and it changes everything. So when you're looking at your composition, and obviously this is basic photography, so like, I am not a professional photographer, and they are incredibly skilled, creative people, but just that little trick changed everything. So she was like, there's two things that I can teach you. It's clean your lens. So just use your t-shirt, but if you've got a glasses cleaner, great, clean your photo lens and switch on your grid lines, because then you can look at the position of something within the rule of thirds. And so you could put something in the bottom left, or you could put something in the top right, and you can work out where something looks better in terms of that composition. So you should be looking at, if you're filming, if you're taking a photo of a scene like I did yesterday when we were at the beach, I could see that if I just moved my phone up a tiny bit more, my husband and the dog would be in the bottom left third of the image, and then the rest of the image would be the beach. So the bottom third would draw your eye in, and you would see that he was there, but then we would be showing all of the beach as well. So I did a bit of that yesterday. It was really fun. Yeah, but that was just like a lovely trick that my friend who's a professional photographer taught me. When it comes to photos of us, I think that we look different, don't we, in different lights? And then it depends whether you've got like the camera which way around and stuff like that. So I think you just have to experiment. All of the stuff that I've read where people are setting up photographs of them, they've got literally hundreds of photos of themselves. And I've never done that, but I can see that every photograph is slightly different. My husband took some of me at the weekend. We were on this beautiful balcony, and there were all the bridges of Newcastle in the background and stuff. And I didn't really like any of them. But I suppose if I'd said, oh, just take 10 more, just like, I'll just keep naturally talking and you can like take 10 more. He's a really good photographer, but Yeah, it was just like, I don't know, like I just wasn't taken with any of them. And sometimes that happens. And I think we've got to go through that a bit to find the ones that we do like. And then when there are the ones that we do like, there's nothing wrong with using them again and again, is there? But I think it really helps our confidence to just have some photographs to pull from, especially inside of our Substack, and to have a profile picture that matches with our brand as well. So if you look at mine, I took it because there was like a sparkly backdrop behind me and I was wearing a dress with stars on it. So that's relatively recent. It's like about a year old, maybe just over a year old now. And it just feels a bit sparkly and special. So I quite like that. But yeah, there's all sorts really. I think the main thing is people connect with people. And so the more visible you are within your writing, the more of a connect that you'll get. Obviously, powerful writing is powerful writing, and I'm not taking anything away from anyone, but we are living in an age where we just like to look into people's lives, and if we can just share that little bit more of a connect, of a human connect, then it does boost our visibility, and it does boost our confidence in terms of feeling like we trust that person. Marketeers will always talk about the know, like, and trust factor. So the know, like, and trust factor just means that we feel like we've got to know someone because they've shown us more of who they are. And that could be through photographs, it could be through video, it could be through podcasts. Like, there are so many ways with it on Substack. So we're spoilt for choice, really. Okay, so I'm going to go and drink my cup of tea, but does anyone have any questions, anything at all about visibility online or being visible on Substack before I go? If not, then obviously feel free to come and mingle with the community over on the Vibrant Visibility Challenge. It's a pop-up challenge, so it's free for the next 3 days. And we are just like pushing the creative boundary of being visible and what it means to be visible, hoping that it impacts on everybody's confidence, obviously teaching people new ways to glean how to be visible and feel comfortable and confident with it. So if you do want to join us, you'd be so welcome. There's already a beautiful set of people that have introduced themselves, and I made it easy for everybody to do the introductions first, that links back to their Substack. And then of course today is all about photographs. So if you haven't yet shared over in the chat, you are very welcome to share your photographs over in the chat. And I guarantee you'll be seeing so many beautiful smiling faces, and it'll just bring a smile to your face, because actually that's what we're doing. Like, that's what connection is. We can hide behind words, we can hide behind curation, but when we put more of ourselves out there, it connects with people. People like it. It's not always easy to do. I don't feel like it every day, and I don't do it every day, but the days that I do feel like it, and the days that I do feel like, okay, like, this is what we're doing, this is part of it all, I always feel like there's something quite rewarding, something quite cozy and rewarding in it all. So I hope that you guys have a beautiful time inside of the challenge. I hope that you learn something. But my challenge today is to get somebody, or set your camera up to take some photos of you. Just have them there to play around with. You might not like any of them, but you might go again. You might change the position, you might change the lighting, you might change the backdrop, but we've got to get playful with it. We've got to get playful to get comfortable, and getting comfortable will increase our confidence. We're not going to like every photo of ourselves because we just have that as a natural human thing. We're like, oh no. But it is worth trying. So thanks so much for being here. I will see you over on the Vibrant Visibility Challenge. Any questions at all, just go to one of the posts and ask, and I'll see you in the chat where we're all sharing photos. Take care, guys. Bye.